Honestly, none of the girls in that villa really like Melanie. Because if they really did, they would tell her the truth. Because I'm just like, girl, you're still letting this man play in your face because why does he even have a chance to give you some meaningless apology and then say he's going to fix it? Fix what? What is there to fix? Girl, move on. Did you not hear Beanie Man say, "Y'all, if you're fed up with your boyfriend, let him go"? Let him go, Melanie.
Kay Unscripted, no teeth restricted. In this journey, watch our stories unfold.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. This is Kay Unscripted. I'm your girl Kay, and today we're breaking down Love Island USA Season 8, Episode 25. So, movie night continues, but before we get into this episode, please take a moment to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, I just want to say thank you to the new subscribers. I really appreciate your support. And as always, thank you for tuning in, everyone who keeps coming back to my page. I know this is a very new channel and I'm trying to get into the groove of things, so I really appreciate the support so far. All right, y'all, so let's get into this episode. So we continue with movie night and we just see Melanie. She's crying, she looks so broken. And honestly, everyone else looks so sad and disgusted by what they saw went down with Sincere. So anyways, we see the next clip and it's Corbin and Kenzie. It's Corbin's turn. They show him talking about Kenzie and they show him with Parmida. They also show his conversation with Casey about Anniyah, saying that Anniyah didn't pick him. They show Corbin comparing the girls in the villa and the Casa girls when they made that statement about high school and stuff. And then they show him saying that he hasn't thought of Kenzie. They also show us Parmida saying that she's not scared of Kenzie. And remember when we heard someone say Kenzie likes anyone? Well, apparently it was Sydney who said it and not Titi. I know we all thought it was Titi. So then Kenzie's like, Parmida, why did you make that comment? I'm not a scary person. But then we seen Corbin saying that he's sorry to Kenzie if he was disrespectful towards her. He apologizes. She said she doesn't really care about the connection. It's just about the way he spoke about her. And I said, Kenzie, girl, not too fast because your judgment day is around the corner. So anyways, Jen tells Corbin that he shouldn't have said these things at all. And then Anniyah also butts in and brings up the college girls comment that he made. And so Kida's like, well, we also said that the Casa guys were way more mature. So it's whatever, right? And I said, exactly. Y'all both talked shit about each other. So then we hear Corbin saying that he doesn't want to talk to none of the girls anymore because he's clearly pissed, okay? And I don't blame him because these girls and their double standards is just way too much for me. So the next clip was Miss Clownsy, okay? And they showed all of her shenanigans going between Caleb and Corbin. They showed all of the lies that she was telling all of the guys that she was dating and how she was just telling them both the same things. Now the whole time she was hiding her face and I said, no, show your face because you were out there doing the most, right? And my thing was like, why didn't the girls say anything to Kenzie? They were quiet like a church mouse. It was like they were on a mute challenge. They said not a thing. We also saw them behave that same way when everything came out with Sincere. Church mouse. Quiet as hell, right? So I'm just like the hypocrisy of it all, right? And poor Caleb, the guy, he had to sit there and see all of the lies that Kenzie told him. But they didn't even show us what happened with Dylan and Gaul. They didn't show any of that. That's also missing there because she's using the same playbook with those two guys as well. So Kenzie gives her little explanation that she did have genuine feelings for Corbin, and then Caleb came in, who was her exact type, and she tried to put her best foot forward. But I still call BS on that, right? Because You also did the same thing with Dylan and Cole, and you also said that they were your type too. So it's like, who really is your type? So Caleb tells her that he wasn't informed of that piece of information and he felt blindsided, and that he was being told a lot of lies, and felt like he put too much energy towards her. He doesn't want to say he wasted his time, but you did waste your time, Caleb, okay? Don't spare her feelings. Tell her. Caleb looked so hurt. And then we see Kata saying, "Oh, I wouldn't apologize to Corbin, F him." I said, Kata, please don't do too much, okay? Because Zach is not any better, because his messy behind was telling Dylan the whole time, "See, I told you, she's doing the same thing to you." Okay, so now back to Clownsy. She said she was pulled out of her connection with Corbin and she did really miss being with him. Caleb said, "Yeah, but you shouldn't have been telling him the same things that you were telling me if you truly felt that way towards him." And the girls were then kind of telling her, you know, he's valid. What he's saying is valid. You should have been more clear with him. And she then kind of piggybacks on what the girls were saying. And I'm like, no, Kenzie, speak up. Speak up. Okay. And also, where is the smoke for Kenzie? It was nowhere to be found. So then Dylan says that he felt like he saw the entire repeat of last night with him and Gaul. But also, Dylan, you saw those episodes before coming to Casa and you knew this was how Kenzie got down. So please be quiet. He then tells her that they just had a chat about their first date outside of the villa, and then 20 minutes later, she was kissing Gaul, and she doesn't even have a connection with him. So that really crushed him because he's putting so much effort, and the same thing is kind of happening to him. So Kenzie said she's sorry and she was just being herself, trying to build a connection, but her intentions are not to hurt anyone. And then she makes the same reference with the kiss being like a handshake. And I just shook my head because, girl, are you really hating yourself? Seriously. I mean, even the guys were taken aback by the comment. And trust and believe, if the guys or any of the guys said that, we would all be pissed and we will be calling them all type of names. But it's okay for Kenzie to say, okay. So the next clip was Melanie and Corey, and then we see Sincere with Amora. More shit, okay? And Jen clocked that he was not even looking into Amora's eyes when he was saying all of the things that he was saying, because he knows he's a pathological liar. So then Amora starts by saying that rejection is protection, and she said that they already had a conversation, so she's not repeating herself. And honestly, Amora didn't seem to care because we all know she was playing the game. She wasn't really into Sincere like that. So she's like, "Well, Melanie, it's nice to see that you enjoyed your Casa experience." And Melanie clocked her. She said, "Well, hold on now, because that was the only time me and Corey kissed." So she makes reference to the statement that Sincere made to Amora that it would have been her if they had more time. Sincere says he wasn't really going to get into his Casa experience, but thought, well, you know what, shit, I'm here, so I might as well get my feet wet, right? That's what he said. But he was thinking about both of the women. That didn't make any type of sense. So Melanie says, "Well, you said if you had more time, so maybe you should have just picked her." And then he starts stammering. Now we know when he starts stammering, he's trying to come up with another lie. He's trying to get the best lie possible, but he can't because he's being caught in that moment. And so Bryce, his slimy behind, is telling him, "Oh, he said you know." Bryce is saying to Melanie that he said you were the only one he could see himself with outside of the villa. She said, "Well, the only reason why he picks me is because I'm a fool." And they're trying to tell her, "Oh no, don't say that. Don't say that." It's like, why are y'all gaslighting this girl? Y'all saw all of the lies that Sincere then said to both Melanie and Amora, and also saw, let's not forget that too, okay? And it's like y'all are trying to convince her that Sincere is a good guy and Sincere is the one for her. Sincere is thinking about her, and Sincere always thought that she was the one. Are y'all serious right now? Then Bryce is going to say, oh, he doesn't know how to express himself. Melanie said, well, he does because he told Amora how he felt, right? So then she said to them, she's so tired of them telling her that he chose her because being chosen is not a prize. She would rather be respected and told the truth. Yes, Melanie, you're right. But again, you come to these realizations and still choose to stay with him, okay? So then Cynthia's like, oh, you want to tell me off? But remember when you what you did to Corbin, when you disrespected Corbin? And so Melanie gets up and she's like, what did I do? I never kissed him or nothing like that. I never told you one thing and told him a different thing. I was always honest about what was going on between me and Corbin. So she's telling him like she feels like a fool, and if he picked her, then stand on it. And how she's so drained, and it's coming off as if Cynthia is trying to blame Melanie for the decisions he made. Because he even had Bryce telling him, bro, just say you're right. Just say she's right. Sorry, just say she's right. Okay. He's still trying to justify what he did, and that's just crazy to me. He's saying, oh, I'm learning so much about myself. I know shit Amara, but Melanie was home. So Mara said, it's crazy that you're learning so much at other people's expense. So then Melanie starts yelling at him, telling him, you said you were going to fix it, but when are you going to fix it? Are you going to fix it? And I'm just like, girl, why are you asking or telling this man what he needs to do? Why does he have to fix anything? He's shown you time and time again how he's going to be moving when it comes to you. And you keep letting him. Now the whole villa was on mute the whole time. Where's the smoke for Casey? Not for Casey, Sincere. Because y'all gave Casey all that smoke. Where was Sincere's smoke? And it was crickets up in that villa. So Melanie walks away, she's crying. Anniyah follows her, and she's saying that she feels so stupid. And now what confuses me is Amora now saying that she felt a way about not being chosen. And I'm like, girl, we also heard you say you didn't feel any type of way about that. So which one is it, right? She said, though, that she would never be in Melanie's shoes. She wouldn't subject herself to that type of treatment. But also, girl, you still let him play in your face. So I don't think there's that much of a difference between you and Melanie, besides the fact that he didn't pick you, okay? So then Anniya's telling Melanie that since they had genuine intentions with her. And I said, Anniyah, girl, you are part of the problem because you just sat through all of this and saw how insincere moved. And not only Melanie, you saw the way he talked about you, right? You saw it. And you're telling this girl that he has good intentions. Are you okay? You literally just said that he bamboozled everybody, and you're trying to convince Melanie that Sincere was real, that his feelings are real, he has good intentions. Are you okay? And also, she was defending you. She was up in there shouting and yelling at Casey, but you were crickets when it came to Sincere. You are not a friend, Anniyah. You are not a friend. So movie night is over. The guys are telling Insincere that he really messed up and that he needs to give Melanie some space, so he should probably sleep in soul ties. But Sincere says he's gonna watch whatever Melanie does. If Melanie goes to soul ties, then he's going to stay in bed. And I said he doesn't care, okay? Now, while they were trying to school Insincere, Anniyah goes up to Casey and says that she was sorry for walking up and yelling in his face. And I'm glad she did that because there's no way that's okay. Because when it comes to my personal space, you're not even going to put a finger in my face, far less for walking up to me and shouting in my face. That's not going to go down good at all, okay? No, sir. So he does also apologize for standing up and explain that he wasn't being heard and that's why he stood up, but he's sorry also for doing that. So then the girls are seated together. Anniyah walks over to them and she tells them that she apologized to Casey. And Pamela says that the whole Casey situation had her put off because she feels like you can explore, but there's no need to compare. And so Titi steps in and says to Anniyah that this was really hard for her to watch, and as a woman, she understands how she feels, even if Casey did bring up Anniyah and never spoke ill of her, right? So now Anniah's going to say, "Oh, I understand you defending your man. Oh, do you?" And not Trinity nodding her head in agreement. I said, oh, now y'all are speaking a different tune. Okay. Did production tell y'all that the audience wasn't really feeling that reaction? And so now y'all had to flip it around? Oh, okay. So, anyways, Titi apologizes too if she came off too aggressive, and all of them are like, "No, no, you're not, no, girl, no, you didn't." It's definitely given. They told y'all the audience wasn't down with that, and so y'all are starting to simmer down. Then over with the guys, we see them telling Casey that maybe now that Anniyah has apologized, it's a start for them to just start fresh, have a friendship, and not talk about none of the nonsense ever again. Casey does acknowledge that he was wrong for the things he said, and he's going to take full accountability for that. So Corbin brings up Kenzie, saying that now Dylan is seeing what Caleb went through. So Dylan said, well, he really likes Kenzie, but also likes she also likes all of these other guys too, and he doesn't want to explore with someone who keeps playing games. But Dylan knows deep down inside he's not going anywhere. He's still going to be with Kenzie. So I don't know why he would say that, because we know nothing's going to change. So then we see Anniyah telling Kenzie that what she did looked really bad and it seemed like she was misleading Caleb, and that's not okay. And she said, yes, you took accountability, but that was a really shitty thing to do. And all Kenzie had was, I feel bad. I feel so bad. Kayla and Zach talk. She said she's pissed because he left out that the racist was sent home. Also, Kayla still doesn't know too that this was his brother's leftovers. So Zach says that it was irrelevant, but actually it's not. It's an important piece of information because it tells your intentions. Even by not telling her shows your intentions too, because you would have never told her had it not come out. So Kayla said exactly what I said in my last recap, that he would have still kissed on her, he would have been cuddling with her, he would have done more things if she didn't leave the villa. So he's like, well, I didn't bring her back, but that's not the point. You were going to do just like Sincere if that girl didn't leave the villa, right? So Zach starts talking fast, and we know when he starts talking fast, he's lying, okay? He's saying that he didn't feel good about the kiss, and the whole time he was thinking about Kata. And Kata decides that that was good enough for her. But also, who else is Kata going to explore? Plus, she's already slept with this guy. And so she's going to stick by him through it, because who else is in there for her? If she thinks it's good enough for her, then it's good enough for me. So as they're wrapping up for the night, we see Kenzie talking to Jen and saying that she's tired of looting people. And I said, well, girl, stop and have some integrity too. Jen tells her it's fine, she's not mad at her anymore. Carl comforts Anniyah and tells her, well, I don't want to say your reaction was uncalled for, but you said your piece. And he's probably thinking, now I know not to mess with her, because if I do, she's going to slap me. She's going to slap me. Casey talks to Titi and he said he didn't like seeing himself that way, but also he's grateful to have her because she has helped him so much. So then Anniya's still saying that Casey didn't comfort her while she was in the dressing room, and she's saying that he was defending himself, but Carl, sorry, comforts her. And I'm just like, why are you still thinking about Casey? Focus on Carl and move on, okay? Meanwhile, we see Melanie heading outside to sleep, And I said, oh, Sincere doesn't give a shit, okay? He's not about to inconvenience himself for anyone. He don't care. And this is why I don't feel like Melanie owed him any type of conversation. It should have been done, right? Melanie, that should tell you that this guy doesn't care. Even after all the shit that went down too with Dylan and Kenzie, they were still kissing in bed. And I said, you see, it's a way. Yeah, pakai shoji. Yeah, pakai shoji. So, anyways, we get to the next morning. Anniyah goes to find Melanie, and then we see Sensei in the kitchen talking about, oh, I'm gonna give her space, but it's always going to be Melanie. Sensei, please shut up. So then we see a chat between Caleb, Corbin, and Casey. Casey says he definitely does want to talk to Anniyah, because he always feels like his voice doesn't matter. So maybe that's something that's going to come later. But he was wrong, and the things he said was crazy and disrespectful by all means. So Caleb then says that he feels like he's giving more to Jaden than she's giving to him. Like he's always the one giving her compliments, but she would never take it upon her own to compliment him unless he does it and then she does it back. And so in his mind, he doesn't think she's that into him. And we see Corbin telling him that he needs to initiate that conversation and just let her know how he's feeling. Kida talks to Kenzie about her clips, right? Kenzie said that she was exploring and trying to get her best connection. So Kida tells her, well, that's good and all, but also a part of exploring is being honest. And it definitely gave Sincere. I said, you're right, Sincere 2.0, okay? Kenzie said, well, not really, because she only lied about the kisses as compared to Sincere. No, Sincere 2.0, period, okay? So Keda tells her to focus on Dylan and she hopes that they make it past the filler. Now we see a conversation between Anniyah and Sincere. Anniyah is telling Sincere that she's very disappointed in him, and he said he's also disappointed in himself because he values her friendship and he didn't have her back. And so Anniyah tells him it looks like he played everyone in the villa. And my thing is, Anniyah, why are you even talking to Sincere? Because I will be coming down his throat from my friend, and not once have we seen you defending your friend. So anyway, she said, you know what? You should feel bad. You should feel embarrassed because you did what you did, right? Because he's saying he doesn't know what to do, he doesn't know how to fix things, sorry, and he feels so bad. Boo-hoo, Cynthia, boo-hoo. So she's like, you should feel bad, okay? You should be embarrassed because what you did to my girl wasn't right, and she's on her last straw. And I said, her last straw? There should be no straws left, okay? Now he says in his confessional that he realized too late and now the damage is done. And I'm so sorry, but that's just typical lame men syndrome, okay? They push the woman to her end, they watch her break, they watch her fall into pieces, and then now they want to win her back and show her, hey, I have changed. Nah, go away with that. Go away. Go away. Get away. All right. He says, oh, I don't deserve her. No, you don't. And like Anniyah said, you look dumb as hell, okay? Dumb as hell. But I wish she should have came hard. I wish she could have came hard on him a little bit more because that was just too nice for me. Now Bryce checks on Melanie and she said she doesn't really know how to feel right now because for her it's one thing to hear what he's been doing, but seeing it unfold is a different feeling altogether. So she says looking at those clips was like watching her best friend get hurt. Bryce tells her that her feelings are valid and she should take as much time as she needs, but he's also growing and he's learning. The optics are screwed though, but I do think it can be fixed because he cares about you. And my thing though is, why are they still encouraging Melanie to give Cynthia another chance, even after they saw how he played her? Mind you, she didn't even get to see everything he said about her. Because remember how he was saying that he forgot what Melanie looked like? They didn't even show that, okay? But he's telling her, oh, I think he always thought you were the one. She said, well, I don't feel that way. And I'm like, girl, let me tell you something. You see real love, healthy, good love, it doesn't look like like that. That's not love. And I don't want to hear anybody saying, oh, they're young. These people are old enough to vote, okay? They're old enough to live on their own. So they know exactly what they're doing, okay? Sincere knows what he's doing. Melanie also tells him, I know everyone's saying that he likes me, but also that's not the way you treat something you like. You like something, you do good by it, okay? And it's like, how can I trust you outside of the villa? Because imagine you act this way in a closed up space. We're literally in a bubble, and this is how you treat me. So far, it's for the real world. Nothing's going to change. He's going to do it too. Palmida and Corbin, they talk. She's trying to find out if he knows her like that. And I think after seeing the way he moved, it probably scared her a bit, and she's trying to see if they have a deeper connection besides the physical. But anyways, he says that he knows she's family oriented. She said she's the oldest sibling and her younger siblings are like her kids. So she asked if he ever saw his parents being romantic with each other, and he said not when he was older, but when they were younger, his father did all of the things, all of the gestures. But over time it died out, but he never really got to see that part, right? So she asked if that makes him want to be a romantic person or not. And he said he wants to be, but he's kind of just like his dad. He's super chill and nonchalant, okay? Now she likes it and good for them. So it's later on in the evening and the girls are getting ready. Kenzie's saying, oh, I'm so sick of the drama. And they reminded her real quick, girl, you are the drama, okay? Also, it was the guys telling Sincere that he still had a chance with Melanie. And I'm like, what? So Kenzie and Dylan talk and she apologizes to Dylan for the way she behaved. And he said that he feels like they've grown. Grown where? Grown how? I don't know. So she says that she doesn't want to hurt him and that he makes her happy and that the realest thing she's gotten out of this experience is him. And he's like, well, that's so cute. That is so cute. I wouldn't believe a word Kenzie said, seriously. So Casey finally pulls Anniyah for a chat, and as she's walking away, she's like, grandmama is coming back. I said, Anniyah. So anyways, they sit down and Casey tells her that he was embarrassed by a lot of things that he said. I wish there was a lot more eye contact, but I think he was just too embarrassed to look at her. But he does say it was such a cringe moment seeing the things that he said. He said that he held a lot of things in because he didn't want to keep arguing with her, and over time he just blew up because there was so much built up resentment. He does tell her that the feelings he felt for her, it wasn't fake, it was real, and that he really appreciated the good moments that they had. Now you can see Anniyah fighting with her tongue to not interrupt him, but she didn't. She let him speak, she let him get everything off his chest, and that was good. That's growth, okay? He apologized to her again and she received it. In fact, she said she forgives him and says that she cares about him and wants him to be happy. She respects his apology and she's just tired of arguing. I said, oh, thank you, Lord. No more bickering between these two. We're happy, okay? In the words of Saul, mama's happy. So he tells her that he's also happy for her and her connection with Carl. They hug it out, they're good. And they both look really relieved, but more so Casey, because he finally felt heard and that's all he really truly wanted. So then let's get to Sincere and Melanie. They talk, and for me, it was him trying to act all happy and shit. Like, first of all, you're not cool like that. And this is not a laughing matter. This is not a time to laugh. So don't try to come and giggle and laugh with me. No. Okay, so he starts by saying that he replayed everything in his mind and he just wanted to give her space, but he's about to be vulnerable. I said, okay. So we're about to hear some sad story. Let's go, Sincere. Let's go. Give us a story. So he said that from a child, he's always been a people pleaser and always wanted to cater to other people's needs. And he's the first to say that he would never let someone down. But here he is letting down the one person he values the most in the villa. Now, honestly, during his little speech, I just kept staring at him. He's not even cute, like you. So, anyways, He says to her, from the bottom of my heart. And I said, what heart? Because you don't have one, Sincere. But he said from the bottom of his heart, he will never make her feel that way again. So she says, well, what about your connection with Saul was people pleasing because you were pleasing yourself? You liked her, and that's fine. So own up to it and stop giving me some bullshit story about people pleasing. So now he says, oh, it wasn't about people pleasing, it was just disrespectful. And Melanie, I just feel like you're repeating yourself at this point because it's like you're a broken record, because the things that you're saying are things that Sincere has heard you say over and over again, okay? You're telling him, oh, when it's time to act, you don't act. I don't believe anything you say, yet you give him chances. You're telling me, oh, you don't consider me. Okay, these are things that he's heard you say before. He said it's disgusting and she doesn't deserve any of that. Okay, she said you should feel disgusting, you should feel disgusting. Okay, I'm not going to feel bad for you, but you need to go figure your shit out. Seriously, you need to grow up. Now the thing too is that everyone knows that Melanie should move on, but they're talking about it behind her back. They're having little pockets of dialogue among themselves, saying that she should move on. But nobody is saying it to her face, okay? Because to her face, y'all keep telling her he likes you. He picked you. He sees himself being with you. It was always you. But tell her the truth. Tell her to move on. And not one person, not even Anniyah, her so-called bestie, has told her the truth. Y'all don't like Melanie, okay? Y'all don't like her. Y'all don't see her as a friend. So then she tells Sincere, you know what? F you, Sincere. F you, okay? F you for the way you treated me. You don't deserve me. And I'm all for growth and all, but you don't deserve to be in a connection with me. And I said, girl, if you want this man to feel what he did to you, why are you still telling him that he's about to lose you? Let him see. Stop telling him. And then she's still up in her confessional crying and saying that she doesn't know what to do. And I'm like, Melanie, you're still letting him play in your face. What do you mean you don't know what to do? There's only one thing left to do. Let him be. Leave him alone. But I don't know, y'all. Please tell me what y'all think about this episode. Drop all of your thoughts in the comments. And as always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Bye.